Now, there's several ways that you can actually buy real estate. I mean, and for a lot of you guys, I've been looking at my analytics. A lot of you guys are from New York and from California, and you're saying, hey, I want to invest, out of state. Even some of you all, that are, nearby North Carolina, you say, Sawan, since Greensboro is so good, I want to invest outside of my state, and I think that'll be good. I want to share why I think that you shouldn't necessarily do that. I mean, I want to share why I really think it's a bad idea to invest out of state. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action on Instagram and YouTube here. Here we talk about real estate investing, how to make as much money as you want during a 30-day period of time while you cherry pick the very best deals for yourself. And today I wanted to share with you a little topic that I like, mainly because a lot of people ask me, do I invest internationally? Like, Sawan, I got a deal in Texas, San Bernardino or someplace. And hey, will you buy it? I know it's a deal. And I always have to tell people, no, I won't. Or people say, hey, Sawan, I got a deal in Martinsville, Virginia. I know you're in North Carolina, you're close by. I got a deal, will you buy it? No, I won't. I'm really a homebody when it comes to my real estate investing. I like to have it, quote unquote, in my backyard, and that's for a few reasons. Now, I'm gonna start, before I go over why I think you should avoid and like the cons of out-of-state investing, let's go over some of the pros, because everything is not 100. You know what I mean? There's no, there's no straight street for everything. You got to get a little curvy. The main benefit I see that reason why most people want to invest out of state is because you can buy rental property more affordably depending on the area. Hey, I definitely get it. If you're in LA, I get it. If you're on Hollywood Square and your rent on a 1-bedroom, 1-bath is $3,000, it's gonna be a little expensive, to buy a condo, buy a single family house or buy a multi-family building out there. It's gonna be more expensive. I totally get it. So it might look attractive to buy affordably being in North Carolina, like my friend Alex Jacobs. He's in California. He buys literally right here in the Triad. So it definitely might seem a little bit more affordable price-wise. So of course, that gets into the next benefit of investing out of state for a lot of you guys, is it seems like the profits would be larger here. Of course you're gonna have a better ROI, return on investment. If I can buy a $100,000 property here and rent it out for $1,200, of course I'm gonna do better. This is most people's thinkings. Of course I'm gonna do better than buying a $500,000 house over here and only being able to rent it out for $4,000. Of course I'm gonna make more money in North Carolina. So that's, those are a couple reasons why people are trying to move, out of state. And I mean, for very much so good reason, I can agree. The next thing, that I see reasons of why people want to invest out of state is because of their financial buying strategy. Like, a lot of the guys that reach out to me say, hey, Sawan, can I buy a deal from you? I'm out of state. What kind of deals do you have? Their buying strategy is using a conventional loan, right? So, like with an FHA loan, the house does need to meet a certain standard to where the bank just want to give you the money for it, because it's government-backed money. But for conventional loans, as long as you got, a decent credit score and you got enough reserves and, they will allow the house to need a little bit of work, as long as it has electricity and water. They're pretty much okay with it, and you're buying it at a decent loan to value. So I see a lot of guys, they want to buy out of state because that's the kind of money that they have. They have $10,000 down. They can get approved for $100,000 mortgages on a conventional loan. $10,000 down, $100,000 house. Amen. That's the money that they have. On a lot of properties outside of the state, $10,000 might not be enough down, even if they were going to go FHA on a 3.5% loan. So it's just like, I can't afford the down payment in New York or right outside of Philadelphia or in Jersey, but in North Carolina, I can. I totally get that. But here's where I see the big drawbacks. All of those, yes, all of those are benefits to investing outside of the state. You can buy more affordable. The ROI will seem good and great and gravy, just putting it all on numbers, okay? And technically, you don't have to get qualified for as much on a loan if you're using a conventional type loan to get your money to buy a house. I totally get it. I really do. But the number one drawback I see to this is you have to buy the property sight unseen. Okay, some people will say, yeah, get some boots on the ground for you, get a good property manager, get a good contractor, and they'll help you. But realistically, will they really help you? Okay, a contractor, a boots on the ground, and a property manager have one thing in common. They all care about profit for themselves individually first, before they care about profit for you, okay? So the biggest drawback is you're probably gonna have to pay, at least until you get a right amount of, at least until you get the right team, pay these people to come out and check the property out for you before you even have the opportunity to buy it, okay? Also, when you do pay them, each person to come out and give their prospective scope of work and give their opinion, and share their comps with you and those kind of things, then you're also gonna have to come to the table strong with a non-refundable deposit. Because in this market where supply is really low, which means that demand is still fairly aggressive, you're gonna have to bring strong, some of you guys might call this due diligence, others might know it as non-refundable earnest money to the table. Okay, I'm talking $2,000, $3,500, $5,000. On my new personal house, I had to bring $10,000 non-refundable earnest. So that means I have lost before I have even acquired a property, before I even know as an investor if my numbers will work, if my financing company will come through. And realistically, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when will this happen to you, okay? Because especially if this is your first deal, second deal, third deal, if you've done less than 10 deals, I promise you're gonna lose your due diligence or earnest money several times before you find a deal, because you have to be aggressive in that non-refundable deposit in order to win these bids and win the respect of your sellers, even if you're going direct to seller. So that's gonna be the first biggest drawback, is you have to buy the property sight unseen and depend on people that you don't know who have their best interest in hand before yours. Secondly, which kind of plays into a little bit of that, is you don't have any contacts, okay? When I say contacts, I'm talking about a real realtor, you know what I mean? Real contractors, because I know you got that guy down at Home Depot, he's swinging his keys around. He said he can do everything. What you need done, he got it, he can do it. But realistically, you don't know the quality of work he can do. You don't know how long he can take. You don't know the quality of the equipment that he has. You don't know how well he's gonna perform. And has it happened to me? For sure. Pay a contractor, he walk away, okay? Pay a contractor, he do decent work. You pay him again so he can continue to do decent work, he walk away. He walks off with your money. He do a bad job, you have to pay somebody to redo it, okay? You don't have any contacts, and realistically, you're gonna have to have enough room in your purchase price, in your rehab price, and all of the expenses that you have to where you can have rooms for mess ups. Because you're not there putting the pressure on people, they're gonna be comfortable, absolutely. And they don't know you enough to say, this guy is gonna put food on my table every month for the next 10 years. They don't know that. So they don't care about you, okay? You don't have the right contacts. I bought a 5-unit. I bought a 5-unit about 2 hours away from here. Turns out it got a septic issue. I got septic tank people here. Ward Brothers is here for your boy in 2 hours here in Greensboro in a 20-minute radius. But when I hit Ward Brothers to go out there 2 hours, nah, player. Nah, we're not going out there for you. No. We stay here for your stuff right here. And I had to call people to go out there. What they did to me is they charged me triple the price because I didn't have contacts out there. They did less work, you know what I mean? And I had to call them more often. And so you're gonna have to have some extra wiggle room because you don't have the right contacts in that particular area to carry out a project, okay? Contacts might be a private money person, because my private money guy, sometimes when I'm funding transactional deals for you guys, I do fund transactional deals, so hit me up, this is me taking action.com. This is me taking action@gmail.com. When I'm funding transactional deals in Cleveland or in Dallas, or in Los Angeles for you guys, because I do deals for my students. That's the reason why I teach, by the way. Come on, let's do some business together. Sometimes your private money guys don't want to go to different cities. They want to go where they know the area, just in case the worst happens and they have to take the property back. You don't have the right contact. Thirdly, you don't know the areas, okay? And with respect, I don't think any of my houses are in bad areas, but I know that the majority of them are in gentrifying areas. And the definition of gentrification is taking a low class area and moving it into a middle class scenario. And so even though I don't believe it's in the hood, I don't see the houses get shot up. I see the police report. I see my Ring and the neighbors in the Ring app going off and talking about it. I don't think my houses are in the hood. So when a seller is talking to you about their house and they're telling you it's in a nice neighborhood, that's because they've seen the house change over the last 30 years. It doesn't change the fact that there's still drive-bys, it's still robberies, there's still civil crimes. The neighbor is realizing that somebody is not at that house right now and is eyeing that HVAC system and wants to take it so they can get it to the pond because they need $300 to pay their light bill, okay? You don't know the areas. And realistically, the more you're in an area, the more you drive around an area, right, you'll know where you should not buy or where you should buy, or even not necessarily should not buy, where you should buy lower. Once you cross that train track, once you cross that road, if you know that road or that train track, you're supposed to be $20,000 less. You're only going to get a certain kind of tenant, so you're going to have a limitation on how much cash flow you got. So you don't know the area. And realistically, without time and experience in those areas, it's just going to be hard for you to judge. Having to not see the property, just being out of state, it's really tough. That's where I see, and like I sell deals, okay? I don't keep all of the deals. I sell a lot of deals to my out-of-state investors. So this video is for y'all and just for some things for y'all to look out. I'm not discouraging it. I'm more so telling you these are the things to watch out for and why it's harder. If this is your first property, you might want to consider working in your backyard first so you can drive by that property, look at it, see what your contractors is doing right or wrong, be able to jump on that subfloor so you can see if it's weak or not, because pictures will lie. They make these cameras sophisticated these days, so they can't tell you the truth. And then lastly, I don't like buying out of state is because the laws are just different everywhere. Some states you can do as many assignments as you want. Other states you can only do 5. Some tenants, they are tenants just because they took the trash can to the road. Some tenants are tenants because they signed a piece of paper. Some tenants are tenants because they made a verbal agreement. And every state has all of these different laws. And for me, it's so hard to try to know 50 states' different laws on tenant laws, on contract law, on real estate law, on title issue law, on civil law, when I can just focus on one state, one area, one zip code, and become an expert, become an authority, and get really great in my area and dominate that area.